Hello? Welcome to today's stream. Oh, I forgot the music. Ah! Okay. Hi, this is the third time that I've tried to do this. The first time, the audio didn't get recorded. The second time, I decided to make sure that wouldn't happen by doing a recording first instead of a live stream, and then it wouldn't upload. Clearly, PopCap, the owners of Plants vs. Zombies, do not want this to get out. So, I guess I'll just have to keep trying and hope that I get through whatever their evil secret thing is. Yeah, let's try this again. Image. Display, let me create a thing. Okay. Browse. Let's go here. Let's try and find these things again. And, in fact, I'm going to pull up the almanac while I'm doing this multi thingamabob. Where are they? Did I might have gotten rid of the images when I did this the other time. So you know what? Since I don't want to because why do I keep trying this? Because I think there's some interesting things about these zombies, and I would like people to know, like, I just want to showcase the personality of these zombies. So how about this? I will new window. Cool. PvZ zombie almanac. We'll just do this the good old-fashioned way of being last second panicking, nothing's working kind of. Okay. And we will create a window capture zombies. Okay. Let me quickly apply a few filters so that it's not as bad. Yes, I am aware I could have done this beforehand. No, I do not care. Okay, well that tells me it's gonna be like 100. 150? That seems like a bit much. 30. 20? 25. There we go. I just don't want that stuff up there to be caught. And then from the right, it's probably just gonna be like, what, 10? 15 maybe? 20? That'll do it. Left, be a solid 60? 70. Okay. Close that. And then let's just quickly grab this guy. Move it over a bit. Shrink it down some. There we go. Then we can grab my model. it'll need to be shrunk down quite a bit as well. There we are. Let's actually lower it down. Okay. This zombie almanac. Let's just get started. Plants is not what we're looking at. Maybe I will read the plant stuff so I can talk about them in a future one. Right now, I'm looking at the zombies. Jeez. Side notes, completely unrelated. This month's art event is going to be starting soon. The poll will start today. The official event will start either next Friday or sooner. So if you want to have a chance at seeing what this month's event's going to be, or even vote, just join the Discord. The link is down below. I thought there was going to be a link that would show me all of the zombies here, and I could just go through them one at a time. But here we go. I was really hoping for a bigger picture. This is really goddamn annoying. You know what? There's an easier way to do this. Let's go back here. Filter. Wrong one. Where is it? Zombies? Filters. And we will just add, like, that's way too much. Still too much, huh? Well, if I did it like this? Close enough. And then from the right, it's got to be like a big number. Oh, that was actually pretty close. In fact, if I just do that, will it be enough? No, okay. Close enough. Okay. Bottom 300. Top 300. And I guess we'll just have to, well, I actually want to do more than that. 50. No, let's try it at 400. And bottom 400 as well. Maybe even 450, just to really get it close in. There we go. And then we will go through them one at a time. So I'm going to be going through all of these guys, and we would just be discussing the personality as described in the almanac, and what we would think of them as individuals. If we were to meet them in person, would we want to talk to them? Do we think we could be friends with them? Do we think they're assholes? You know, just that kind of stuff. Like, get to the core of the personality being presented by Popcross. Starting off, we have the zombie. Let me keep fudging around with some stuff because it'll never be good enough. Panic. I will note, and I will reiterate this at the end, there are exactly 2 zombies that I think I could be pretty good friends with. Additionally, there are 2 zombies that are not those the 2 I could be friends with, that have actually gone to college. So there are some interesting details that I would like to, cover as we go through this. If you would like to see me do this again with the plants, or do this with PvZ 2, definitely let me know. And yeah. So, the zombie. Regular garden variety zombie. They love brains. Can't get enough. Brains, 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 day in and night out. Old and stinky brains, rotten brains, brains clearly past their prime, does not matter. Regular zombie wants them. This zombie has a few issues. First of all, I think that they kind of sound like a hoarder. They've definitely got some OCD issues. Maybe not OCD, but obsessive. They're very obsessive. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with someone with a one-track mind. So I'm not judging this person. Like, I don't think they're necessarily a bad person, and there's nothing wrong with anyone who gets along with this kind of person. It's just, I personally don't think I would be very interested in speaking this with this kind of a character more than a couple of times. The first time would be kind of interesting, you know, I get to know them. But then after that, it would become pretty clear quite quickly that there's just very little... Is the music not going? There we go. It would become pretty clear very quickly that there would be no opportunity for conversation. Like, it's a very one-track mind, not a lot of interaction. Like, if I don't want to talk about brains, I can't talk with this dude. So, it's unfortunate. I just don't think I can... I just don't think I would consider this guy a very good friend. Moving on. Let's see if I can do this without going too far. There we go. Flag zombie. Interesting little guy. Flag zombie marks the arrival of a huge pile or wave of zombies. Here's the end of the description. Make no mistake, the flag zombie loves brains. But somewhere down the line, he also picked up a fascination with flags. Maybe it's because the flags always have brains on them. It's hard to say. This is a character has a little bit more depth than the garden variety zombie, the standard zombie. They're still a little bit obsessive with one thing, but I'm more inclined to be able to pick up a conversation with this character since they have branching interests. Maybe still a little bit obsessive, it's just more diversified, but a more diversified interest, or a more diversified list of interests is always better. After that, we have, I should just keep the other thing open at all times. Yeah, after which we have, let me try and get that more center. Okay, Conehead Zombie. Conehead Zombie, is twice as tough as a normal zombie, okay. This is the first zombie that I think has a truly interesting personality. Like, sure, I could hold a couple conversations with Flag Zombie, but I think I could regularly have conversations with Conehead Zombie. Conehead Zombie shuffled mindlessly forward like every other zombie, but something made him stop. Made him pick up a cone and stick it on his head. Oh yeah, he likes to party. So this is an extroverted party zombie that's really gonna have a good time, and you know they're gonna have a good time with you. I will note though that as I myself am an introvert, and I don't think I would get along too well with this guy, but I could definitely respect them. You know, it's like, yeah, cool, party on, rock on, have fun. This is a zombie who will enjoy themselves, and will always be able to enjoy themselves. So, you know, they're pretty cool. Lots of respect for the Headwear Zombie. Or the Conehead Zombie, I should say. After them comes what I would consider to be the first of a list of the first of a number of zombies that I would categorize as being the jock zombies, or the sports zombies. And it's this guy, the pole vaulting zombie. He runs really quickly and then jumps over the first plant, after which he continues forward at a slow pace. Let's get into his description. Some zombies take it further. They aspire more. Push themselves beyond the normal into greatness. That's pole vaulting zombie right there. That is so him. So, pole vaulting zombie, I definitely have a lot of respect for you. They've gone beyond the one-track mind of the default zombie and the flag zombie. They're not as outgoing as the conehead zombie, but they have a ton of aspiration. They seek to rise to greater heights, literally, using a pole vault. So, a lot of respects there. Again, though, this is a zombie where I feel like if you're not into the same thing that they're into, they're pretty much just going to ignore you. So I could probably hold 1, maybe 2 conversations with the pole vaulting zombie before it just becomes a little too repetitive for my tastes. Buckethead zombie. It's very difficult to kill the Buckethead zombie. The bucket takes a ton of hits. Buckethead zombie always wore a bucket. Part of it was to assert his uniqueness in an uncaring world. Mostly, he just forgot it was there in the first place. Now, spoilers, this is actually the first zombie that I think I would become really close friends with. They remind me of one of my closest friends, both in their uniqueness, their, I do get the sense that this zombie is a little bit more introverted, but it's the fact that they stand out so strongly in a crowd, but also they're very forgetful. Probably has ADHD, if I'm honest. But yeah, this is a zombie that I would get along very well with, and actually, in fact, reminds me of a very dear friend. So, the Buckethead zombie is the first to go into my category of close friend zombies. Next stop, newspaper zombie. Newspaper provides a little bit of defense. After you break the newspaper, he gets mad, goes forward really quickly, destroys your plants really quickly. Tough guy. Yeah. His description is that the newspaper zombie was, parentheses, or quote-unquote, this, end quote, close to finishing his Sudoku puzzle. No wonder he's freaking out. I can relate so strongly. This is an intellectual zombie. The only thing preventing me from saying I would become a pretty good friend of his is that it seems pretty clear he has some anger management issues. He should probably seek therapy. Like, I get it. I relate to being really close to finishing a puzzle, and then something happens or somebody does something that messes it up, and you just, if you don't have a spare, you can't even start over. You feel very frustrated. But that doesn't mean you need to take it out on the people around you. So, newspaper zombie, I feel ya, but I'm afraid, until you can get your anger under control, I can't really hang out with ya. After them, we have the screen door zombie. This is the first zombie that I can honestly say that, in terms of personality, I don't like them. Let's get into... Well, first, their screen door will block peas and any, if it's a snow pea, for example, they're not freezing because the door takes the hit for them. So, very difficult to deal with. Supposedly, he got a screen door from his last from his last inexpertly defended home he visited after he ate the homeowner's brains. I feel like this might not be true. I feel that this zombie is very similar to, like those people you see on YouTube where they will like rent a hotel or rent a car, and then put out a video saying, if you're not making $3 million by the time you're 21, then blah 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 blah, and they're trying to scam you into sending them money. By the way, if you see those things, never trust them. They're always lying. They're bad people. They don't care about you. They just want to take advantage of you. And that's kind of the sense I get from Screen Door Zombie. Where he got the door, I don't know. He might just have, like, rented it, or something. After them comes the second of the zombies that I would list as, the sports zombies. Oh, whoops, I accidentally grabbed the wrong thing. It's just... I guess that'll have to do. Football zombie. Very tough zombie to kill, and they have a helmet, which makes them just a little bit harder. Description. The football zombie gives 110% whenever he's on the field. A team player who delivers both offensively and defensively. Has no idea what a football is. This fits into the dumb jock archetype. Similar to the first few zombies, I think that he has a very one-track mind. However, unlike them, I don't think his one-track mind is on brains. I think it's just on being the supportive type. I think he's a very supportive zombie. However, I think that the fact that I don't think there's a whole lot going on upstairs means that, like, while I would respect this guy and I would get along with him, I don't think we'd ever become really close, you know? He's just, he's a cool dude. And that's kind of all he boils down to. Now, before I show you the next zombies, I want to preface it by saying there are technically two versions of them. And I'm only looking at the newer version. I think the description for the both is the same, but I think the newer version is more accurate to how they're described, and also was done for legal reasons. So I'm going to stick with the newer version. I will show you them, though. The older version was the Michael Jackson zombie. They're actually called the dancing zombie, and this is what they look like now. The initial thing is that any relation or any resemblance between dancing zombie and persons living or dead is purely coincidental. Sure. As for the actual description... Oh, actually, before I get into the description, I don't know if I would categorize this as a sports zombie. Depends on whether or not you qualify dancing as a sport. I think that some people would. However, I think that there is a distinction in the nature of it, because although there is competitive dancing, I think that the fact that it is entertainment first, then physical activity second, while most sports are physical first and then entertainment second. Even know if I said that the right way around. I do think there's enough of a distinction that I don't want to classify them together. Anyhow, moving on. The Dancing Zombies description is as follows. Dancing Zombies' latest album, Our Brains Are Blartle, is already rocketing in the undead charts. That is incredible. Like, to have an album to do well with the undead demographic. Remember, most of these zombies are focused almost entirely on brains. They don't really seem like the sorts to listen to music because it would distract them from their goals. But this zombie their music is so good that even amongst other zombies, they're succeeding. Additionally, there's no implication that they actually have as strong a vested interest in acquiring brains as the other zombies. So, a very unique personality. One last thing, after them I'm talking about the backup dancer. This zombie seems like not only are they a success, but they authentically seem like they're trying to help raise other zombie dancers to reach their level. They're a very supportive, very interesting, very fun kind of a character. The only reason why I would not classify them as being a close friend of mine is that I don't know if I could relate to them on a person-to-person level. You know? It's like trying to be friends with the dancing zombie is kind of like trying to be friends with a celebrity. Sure, you can do it, but there's always going to be this difference of social standing that'll get in the way. And it's not something that either of you wanted. It's not something that, like is intentional in any way. But it is going to be there, unfortunately. So, Dancing Zombie, huge props. I have tons of respect. I hope they stay. I hope they stay in the scene. I think that they have further to go. You know, this is just one album, but I think that we'll see much more Dancing Zombie in the future. After Dancing Zombie, we have the two versions of Backup Dancers. I do like the first version, but the first version looks more to me like a resistance fighter than it does a dancer. I get it's supposed to be paired with Michael Jackson, but This is Backup Dancer Zombie as they are today. They appear in sets of 4 whenever a dancer or zombie rocks out. Now, this is a very interesting zombie, because this is one of the 2 zombies who have actually gone to college. I will note that, well, let's get into the description. Backup Dancer Zombie spent 6 years perfecting his art at the Juilliard Performing Arts School in zombie New York City. That is quite impressive. First of all, the Juilliard's Performing Arts School in zombie New York City, that's pretty prestigious. Like, most people can't even afford to live in New York City, let alone zombie New York City, where the economy is completely busted. So the fact that he spent 6 years there, doing nothing but working on his dancing degree, incredible. But I should note, there's no indication he finished his degree. We don't actually know if he graduated or if he dropped out. I would like to hope for the best, but it's hard to say. But back to the main point of this video of talking about them as individuals. This is a zombie with aspirations. They want to be as big as the Dancing Zombie. They managed to get a contract that lets them dance with Dancing Zombie. So they're on the up and up. They're rising to where they want to be. But they're not quite there yet. Similar to Dancing Zombie, I think they're a really cool person that I would probably get along with, and I would like talking to. But the fact that they're so invested in their career means that I don't know how. Kind of similar to Pole Vaulting Zombie, I don't know if I could talk to them when they're so focused on their aspirations. So, respect, get along, but I don't think I could get too close to them. Up next is the first aquatic zombie, which is the Ducky Tube Zombie. Ducky Tube Zombie also comes in variations with the cone head and the bucket head, but they are all classified as Ducky Tube Zombies. They're not unique. They float in the water, and there's not really much else to talk about with them. Oh, rain. That's nice. Now, it's very interesting. Listen to this description. Listen closely. It takes a certain kind of zombie to be a ducky tuber. Not every zombie can handle it. Some crack. They can't take it. They walk away and they give up on brains forever. This tells me that to be a ducky tube zombie takes the same amount, or maybe not the same amount, but a similar amount of hard work and dedication that it takes to make it as like a soldier, as a marine, whatever. I think that that's the reason they come in those three variants. I think that this example of a ducky tube zombie, the kind without any headwear, is a new recruit. I think that a conehead shows that they've started rising through the ranks. I think a buckethead shows that they might even be like a, not like a general, but a higher rank. Someone who the general would ask to command the other troops in that kind of hierarchy. These are frontline zombies. That being said, while I hold a lot of respect for that level of strength of will and determination, I don't know that I would actually get along with them. I think that's the very nature of them being so dedicated and intense about what they do means that it would be a little difficult for me to actually hold a conversation with them. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of how it is. A lot of respect, though. Next up, we have the second aquatic zombie, the snorkel zombie. These guys are different in this fact that they will go under the water, and when they're under the water, they can't be hit by plants like pea shooter. The only way to hit them is with lobbing plants like cabbage pult or melon pult. But they will come out while they're eating, and that's when you can hit them with things like peas. Onto their description. Zombies don't breathe. They don't need air. Why does Snorkel Zombie need a snorkel to swim underwater? The answer is peer pressure. I feel really bad for this zombie. This is a zombie that I feel probably doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. They want to appease their peers. And you know what? Although I might not be their closest friend, I think I would definitely want to be there to support the Snorkel Zombie. At least lend a hand and tell them, hey, you don't need to do this just because it's what other people expect. Unfortunately, there's not much else to say about the Snorkel Zombie beyond that, but I think we should all try and acknowledge the fact that this is not the only being out there that experiences that kind of peer pressure and lifestyle. So if you have a friend that it reminds you of, you know, give them a hand. Show them that you care. Show them that you're there. Everyone needs a little bit of support every now and again. After the Snorkel Zombie comes the Zomboni. Zomboni is interesting. They apply ice and instant kill most plant, or like every plant. And if the ice is long enough, it'll start spawning the next zombie we will talk about. Zomboni's description. A Zomboni is not to be mistaken for a Zamboni trademark brand ice resurfacing machine. Zamboni trademark and the image of the ice resurfacing machine are registered trademarks of Frank J. Zamboni and Company, Incorporated, and Zomboni is used with permission. For all your non-zombie related ice resurfacing needs, visit www.zamboni.com. I looked into this. That is a true fact. That is actually the website you can go to. That is the actual company. That was the actual founder. But, all that said, this doesn't give us a lot of information about the Zomboni itself. And although the game got permission to use the likeness of a Zamboni, I don't think the Zomboni has a license to be driving this Zamboni. First of all, if you look at the supposedly a Z letter on top of the Zomboni, its orientation is odd, because you would think that it would be a Z from looking at it from the front. This is a side view, which means that's probably meant to be an N in actuality. With that in consideration, also recognize that he's not icing the surface of ice, he's icing the surface of a front yard. There's no way that the Zamboni company would allow their product to be misused like this, let alone the fact that this is home invasion. So I suspect that zombie is not actually licensed. I think that they are a criminal who stole this and are repurposing it, which is clever in its own way, but I will say that if someone is actively being a criminal, maybe don't be good friends of theirs. Maybe kind of not do that. Avoid them if you can. And that, yeah, it's kind of a problem. Avoid Zombonis. They're not going to be your friend. Best case scenario, they might take advantage of you. Worst case scenario, they'll convince you to steal them a new Zamboni because the old one broke or something. Now, I could argue that the zombie bobsled team work with the Zomboni. I do not think that is the case. Just based on the description, which I'll get into, it really seems that they are completely independent. They're just taking advantage of the fact that somebody is using a Zamboni in that way. The bobsled team appear in groups of 4 and will ride a bobsled down the ice as far as they can, and then proceed like normal. The description. The zombie bobsled team worked hard to get where they are. Oh, actually, before I continue, this is yet another zombie that I personally would classify as being a member of the sports subgroup of zombies. They are an athletic group. Back to their description. They worked hard to get where they are. They live together, eat brains together, and train together to become a cohesive zombie unit. Similar to the other prior athletic zombies, the zombie bobsled team have aspirations. They want more. They want to go further. But unlike the other ones, they're not willing to throw each other under the bus at all. I mean, there's no implication that the others were willing to, but this is the kind of team that says, if my friends aren't going to make it to the top, then I don't want to be on the top. It's either all of us or none of us. And quite frankly, I think that is incredibly admirable. And I still feel that their aspirations would probably get in the way of me getting too close with them in terms of developing that interpersonal relationship. But that aside, like, I applaud this kind of a character. And I think that more people could really learn a thing or two from the bobsled zombie team. Moving on, we have the zombie dolphin rider, or dolphin rider zombie, I should say, which also has some interesting notes we'll get into. The way they work is they're kind of like the pole vaulter in the fact that they'll jump over the first plant, moving really quickly until that point, and then at a more regular speed after that point. Let me lower it, just, or raise it a little higher. Okay. Just being a little annoying. There we go. Zombie Dolphin Rider. The description is short and simple. The dolphin is also a zombie. That actually holds a lot of significance. There's a lot of implications here. First and foremost, this is not, as one might assume, an instance of animal cruelty. They're both zombies. And the fact that the dolphin disappears after launching his rider tells me that the dolphin isn't actually interested in the brains. I think these guys are friends, close friends, and the dolphin is simply trying to support his friend in his endeavor. So, you know, I would need more information about their lives, their personalities, before I could say for sure that I'd get along with them. But the fact that I think that teamwork is so important to them is a huge mark in the right direction. That said, I could be wrong. Maybe this is an instance of animal cruelty. So that is a second reason why I'm not gonna be putting them into that category. It's out of hesitation and concern. Next up, the Jack-in-the-Box zombie. They carry around an explosive. Their description is that they shiver, not because he's cold, but because he's crazy. You know how I was talking about the bobsled zombie and said, don't make friends with active criminals? I don't want to be too controversial, but someone who clearly just broke out of an insane asylum and is still wearing their straitjacket and is walking around holding an explosive and intends to blow themselves up along with whatever's around them, maybe shouldn't be considered a very close friend either. I don't really have much more to say about that other than just definitely avoid Jack-in-the-Box zombie at all costs. You're better off making friends with the active criminal than you are the suicidal insane asylum escapee. Balloon zombie. They can fly over your plants and can't be hit except by I think all instant plants, including squash, or I don't think chompers can hit them, or cactus or cattail. And cactus cattail pop the balloon to make other plants be able to hit them. Moving on to their description, the balloon zombie really lucked out. The balloon thing really works, and none of the other zombies have picked up on it. I find this interesting. Because this implies that there was no intent behind the balloon. It's simply a matter of it happened. Maybe they were turned to a zombie after it was tied to them or something. I'm not entirely sure. I will say though, balloon zombie, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Balloon Zombie. I feel like this is someone who stumbles into success and then is not very compassionate with other people. Like, where they just go, huh, I wonder why no one else is successful, you know? They're the kind of person where, like, they'd inherit a lot of money and then have a lot of really bad opinions that they would share on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. The biggest part of why I say that is because even though I think that he very well could, he isn't sharing the success of balloons with any other zombies. He's not trying to help others succeed. He's kind of just taking advantage of the fact that he can get ahead. Up next we have Digger Zombie, which is... this description is very insightful. What they do is they'll dig underground to go behind the plants' lines and take them out in such a way that most plants can't even hit them. Of course, if you have like magnet shroom, they will lose their pick and then they'll have to move forward like normal. They're actually somewhat tough, I've found. Anyways, onto the description. The Digger Zombie spends 3 days a week, that means every week, getting his excavation permits in order. This is basically the first zombie with a real job. Again, it also implies a level of dedication. That's 3 days of every week spent doing nothing but paperwork. I mean, I don't know a whole lot of people that are so passionate about what they do that they'd be willing to spend that much time doing nothing but paperwork. The only thing that I could think of would be someone who's really passionate about their taxes. So, you know, Digger Zombie, you got my respect. I don't think there's a lot I would have to talk with you about. Unfortunately. Next up we have our Pogo Zombie, who I think is a parallel to the Balloon Zombie. They will bypass... they're similar to the Pole Vaulter in the fact that they will bypass they'll bypass plants. And in fact, can bypass multiple plants. Like, they don't just stop at one. In fact, they'll bypass all of them if they're not taken care of or having their pogo taken away from them. Onto the description. Sproing, sproing, sproing. That's the sound of a powerful and effective zombie doing what he does best. Like I said, I think this is a parallel to the Balloon Zombie, in the sense that this is a zombie who stumbled their way into success and is really taking advantage of it. However, unlike the Balloon Zombie, I don't think that I don't think this is quite an instance of them getting lucky. It seems more like this was thought ahead. Like, they thought, you know, that using a post-it would help me get ahead. So although, like, it seems like they're not really helping the other zombies in the same way the Balloon Zombie is, I have a little bit more respect for the Pogo Zombie for the simple fact that it's of their own ingenuity as opposed to dumb luck or good fortune. Kind of like the creators of most big tech companies. After them is the Zombie Yeti. They don't even go after brains, they just appear occasionally and drop a bunch of diamonds if you can take them out in time. Their description? Little is known about the Zombie Yeti other than his name, birth date, social security number, education history, past work experience, and sandwich preference. Which, should be noted, is roast beef and Swiss, not brain. Interesting distinction. This is a very interesting zombie. I could see myself getting along with them. But they seem like they should be a little bit more concerned with their online presence. Like, if I was sponsored by Nord, this would be where I would put in the very smooth transition into talking about how you should get that. Getting a VPN, that is. That being said, I'm not sponsored, so I'm not going to do that. Zombie Yeti, get your life together. Like, I would like to be friends, but I'm a little worried that being too closely, being too close to you would result in my information getting stolen. I definitely think it needs to start off with your social security number. Go down, get that resolved. Yeah. Sorry, dude. After the Zombie Yeti, we have Bungee Zombie, which actually does two things. They'll place other zombies onto the yard, and they'll take plants off of the yard. Their description is that the Bungee Zombie loves to take risks. After all, what's the point of being dead if you don't live a little? I adore this guy. I think that this... I mean, they're very frustrating in gameplay, but I think that that is an astounding kind of perspective to have on undeath. And I can only hope that once I'm a zombie, I can have a similar mentality towards it. I almost want to classify this as another athletic zombie, but I don't think that's quite right, because I think bungee jumping is really more of a hobby than it is a sport. All that being said, as much respect as I have for Bungee Zombie, I think that I think that I wouldn't necessarily get along with them. It seems like they're living... Like, it's good to live in the moment. I think they're a little too much. It's the kind of person where you're either really on board with what they're doing, or they'll leave you behind, because they're so quick to go on to the next thing. Again, nothing wrong with that, just not really my speed. Next up, we have the second of the two zombies that I would consider to be a good friend. The ladder zombie. The ladder works in much the same way as the screen door. But additionally, if they get to, I think it's either a pumpkin, a walnut, or a tall nut, they will put down the ladder and allow itself and all other zombies to just bypass that obstacle. So yeah. It says, Ladder Zombie picked up the ladder for $8.99. So this tells us a few things. First of all, this is a zombie with a job. He has money. Second of all, he works for what he gets. Like, he didn't steal the ladder. He went in and purchased it. I definitely think that I relate to this zombie. I think this is the most respectable zombie. Possibly the second zombie we've seen with an actual job. Because, I mean, why else does he have a hammer on him? Like, I think this is a zombie who does actual work, like in construction and stuff. So, Ladder Zombie, you can join Buckethead Zombie in my list of good friends. Congratulations. Also, fabulous mustache. As you can see, I can appreciate some good facial hair. Moving on to the next zombie, we have Catapult Zombie. catapult zombie operates heavy machinery is the first thing it says there. He basically attacks your back row, and then until he runs out of basketballs, at which point he will drive over your plants, and when he drives over a plant, it one-shots it, just like the Zomboni. Its description is, of all the things Catapult Zombie could launch with his catapult, basketball seemed like the best and most obvious choice. Let's take a moment to recognize and respect the Catapult Zombie for what is very clearly something he made himself. Like, yeah, the ladder zombie went out and bought the ladder, but this zombie is intelligent. This zombie is not one of the zombies that went to college. He figured out on his own how to build a vehicle that is also a functioning catapult. He had to modify that basketball hoop, not just to give it that angle, but also to make sure the basketballs wouldn't just fall through the little hoop that normally they would fall through. He's repurposing the trash can lid for that back tire. He used the use of the lumber. I think that this is a zombie that could be going a lot further in life, but is content with just doing it because he likes it to. So, lots of respect for this zombie. Intelligent, creative, cool zombie that I would respect. I don't know if I could relate to them on an interpersonal level, but if I could, that would be great. Otherwise, it's just, this is a smart character. Next up, we have the Gargantuar. The imp is shown on his back, but we'll actually be talking about the imp after the Gargantuar. The Gargantuar takes 2 instant kills to take out, and they will use, as you see here, a telephone pole, or they'll use a stop sign, or they'll use another zombie to smash your plants with one hit. When Gargantuar walks, the earth trembles. When he moans, other zombies fall silent. He is the zombie other zombies dreamed they could be, but he still can't find a girlfriend. This is the alpha Chad of zombies, but not the good kind of Chad. This kind of gives me a little bit of incel vibes, where it's like, I am such a great catch, why don't women want to date me? And the honest answer is that you're probably not someone with a very great personality. Being strong and big and tough doesn't mean that you are owed a relationship. No one is owed anything. So if it wasn't for that last line, I would have, like, a lot of respect for this guy, because he clearly, there's clearly a lot going for him. I mean, okay, maybe not, because I do have my suspicions that he might have been using performance-enhancing drugs to achieve his physique. In fact, I'm gonna just kind of retract what I said. I don't think there's very much admirable about this guy at all. I think he's an incel, might be a steroid user, kind of just a gross personality all around. Which is actually odd, because I really like his little friend. Oh, what the fuck? Why did that music start playing? That was fucking weird. Stop that. Okay. Okay. It kind of is a little odd that Gargantuar has such a gross personality, considering that he's such good he's such good friends with the imp, which we will get into now. They're really small zombies that once the Gargantuar is at half health, he will launch them forward, but they can only take 3 hits before being knocked out. And by 3 hits, I mean from like a pea shooter, so one of the weaker plants. Their description is that imps may be small, but they're wiry. They're proficient in zombie judo, zombie karate, and zombie bare-knuckle brawling. He also plays a melodica. So this is a small zombie that's really into, like... This is like what I would consider the final addition to our athletic zombie roster. And they have an interest in music, so it's not just like, I'm a tough guy, but also like a musician. So, again, I think I have a lot of respect. The only thing holding the imp back in terms of likability is the fact that they seem to get along very well with the Gargantuar, who, as mentioned, seems to have a lot of very bad opinions and is generally unlikable. Unfortunate. Now, let's wrap up with the final zombie. There are some non-almanac zombies that are not available except in special versions of the game. I have not played those versions of the game, so I can't cover them, but I might show some of them just to give you guys an idea what they're like, and see if you would want me to cover them in another video. But our last zombie for this video that I'll cover is Dr. Zomboss, the second zombie who has been confirmed to have gone to college. Dr. Zomboss is the one in charge of the hordes. He is the only one who seems to be proficient with their writing. He has very beautiful handwriting. He's very fluent with his words. Full name, Edgar George Zomboss. And he achieved his doctorate in thanatology in only 2 years. It should be noted that a doctorate is generally like a 4-year degree. So that is he achieved that in an accelerated pace. Quickly mastering thanatology technology, he built his fearsome Zombots and set about establishing absolute dominance of his local subdivision. This is a zombie with aspirations, intelligence, and a degree. A doctorate. I'm sorry, did I say 4 years? That's not right at all. That's like a bachelor's. How many years to get a doctorate? PhD degree. Kisa's funding for a humanities PhD is about 5 years. PhD program typically takes 4 to 7 years, but a variety of factors can impact that timeline. A PhD or doctorate degree is the highest degree you can earn in certain disciplines. On average, it takes 4 to 5 years to complete a doctorate of philosophy. Most PhD programs between 4 and 6 years. I guess 4 wasn't too bad, actually. Master's versus PhD. A PhD takes 3 to 7 years. Okay. So in general, it seems like it averages 5 or 6. This is all very impressive. He did it in only 2 years. That is faster than anyone else. He didn't even study engineering. He just applied thanatology to engineering to create the Zombot. I have to applaud this man right here. Dr. Edgar George Zomboss. Congratulations. I don't think I would get along with him. I do think he's a little bit self-centered, a little bit stuck up, I think he lets his intelligence go to his head. Because he does seem to like putting down others, especially Crazy Dave. If you played the sequel, Plants vs. Zombies 2, they have a bit of a rivalry going. And he seems very invested in telling others about how superior he is. A little bit unfortunate, but still very impressive. With that, I think that'll be all for today's stream. So let's just put things back to the way they should be. Put you over there, put you here, make it bigger. Perfect. Well, hopefully this time you got my audio. Hopefully nothing else will go wrong. I have been trying this for a while, and I don't know what I'm going to do if you guys don't get my audio this time. Anyway, I want to say thank you guys so much for everything. You've gotten my channel up to 100 subscribers. That is incredible. Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you to the person who got here to see this live. You mean a lot to me. And if you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much. You mean a lot to me too. I can't even begin to express how thankful I am that anyone even bothers to watch this nonsense. All that said, join the Discord, where I host polls for monthly art events and art challenges. Today I'll be starting one for this month. If you want to see more of this stuff, comment down below. Other than that, I mean, do all the YouTube nonsense, like, subscribe, blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. You get the idea. I do this every Friday. Well, not this specifically, but I put something out every Friday. And I hope to see you all next time. Have a good one, and bye-bye.